All right, welcome. Decision Games War in Europe using the 3rd edition rulebook and the 2nd edition graphics here from the original, I think, made back in the 70s. We are currently playing the France 1940 scenario. We're playing the historical version that does put those historical limitations on the Allies. Germans get a free pre-game turn move through the Ardennes. Allies have to move forces up into Belgium, and hence we get the Schickelschnitz, whatever, Schnitzel. I hear the word, but I never remember it. But you do see the Germans now have cut off, and they're slowly reducing the French and Brits who had to move up here. What's different, though, is they went right for Dunkirk. There is no escape. Dunkirk is not open for emergency escape. Meanwhile, the Germans are setting up to take Paris because they have a tight schedule. They have to take Paris by turn 7 and cause Vichy to form. And right now they're not quite at Paris. Their infantry has moved up so it can strike this first line, but you know, game pretty much now revolves around Paris. If the Allies can keep the Germans out of Paris long enough, maybe it'd come down to a die roll on the last turn for forming Vichy. So jumping in here at the initial move for the Allies, they did have an infantry replacement and a mech replacement, both of which they built in Paris. And right now there's 2 armored divisions, and what I learned from Poland is potentially, one of the commentators to my video said, if I can put 3 identical units that have 2 steps in there, that means it'll last for 3 turns. The first turn they all get reduced, but then they all combine to a single division. The second attack they get reduced again, and on the third attack they fall. So we're coming up into turn 4, and the French do have a 6-6 here and a 6-6 here to potentially move in. Now I could load it up with Brits, but the rules are Brits and French can't stack together, and it seems a bit ahistorical that the French would leave the defense of Paris to the Brits, but we'll see how it plays out. And we do see with the initial move, yeah, the Germans, if you saw the previous video, they're trying to flank Paris again. So you do see the moves here. They had this line of air interdiction, basically slows down this wall of infantry, but some units are able to get through here, kind of protect the back end. I don't think the Germans will be able to totally surround Paris, but really there's no benefit. Paris is a supply center, so anybody trapped in here will be supplied, except the Brits maybe. I'll have to look that up. But right now, I think potentially they have a line of sight, but I'll verify that before the German turn, because these guys moved just as far as they could. German Zocs are everywhere. So that's what they're doing, concentrating around Paris, trying to shift this extra infantry over. Kind of what happened in real life. I'm listening to that book, How to Lose a Battle. Yeah, and initially they thought these units would have to protect the rear of the Maginot, but then they realized, oh no, we got to send them up here to Paris in this case, because there's no way these units are gonna break out. Germans did swap and put a powerful unit in Dunkirk to prevent the Brits from taking a shot at it, because the Brits get into Dunkirk, they're emergency evacuating. It's not that far to Dover here, but trying to keep them out of a port. So we'll see. So that's basically the initial move. I mean, that's the initial move. They're just shifting to protect Paris. These guys are having to pull off the line. There is a hole here, but luckily the Brits here, down here at Brest, the rail lines were interdicted, you can see. But, so therefore they just went overland. 810s can get to here. Got a little figuring out of stuff here. And the armored division can get to here. This guy will get to move again in the mech move, so he'll move up. But by the rules, any British units adjacent to German units must form a no longer than 4 hex to the coast. So till these guys get up to form that. It looks like the Brits' defense is going to be here. Because they're only allowed one unit knot, and kind of hard here with these two just don't have the movement points to even follow those rules, so I'm not counting them, but this armored unit's probably going to end up right here. But the French and Brits do one attack. They take advantage of having this 2-8 here to try and destroy it. And this was done, I guess in hindsight, this really wasn't necessary because I was worried about the supply line here being, well, we did put a 10-8 here to protect the supply head. But if the Brits or anybody is here, then it forces the supply to go this way, but we're still close enough. So, but they're going to take the shot. They're going to automatically lose 2 strength points because out of supply units doing an attack automatically lose, in spite of the combat result, automatically lose the number of strength points equal to that. So yeah, that's the only attack, so I'm going to pause here. Okay, and we're back. Ended up being an 8-1. I saw no rules about them not able to do a combined attack, so everybody got thrown in. The 5 is a half exchange. So we had a 2-8, half exchange is 1 point, but then they had to lose 2 for its strength, that's 3, so one of the 3-4 divisions was eliminated. And the French advanced in here. It would have been the French or the British. The British are going to stay on the coast. Probably not going to get lucky to get to the port, but we'll see. And then the mech move, I'll show you that in a second, but it would have been nice to, I kind of changed the reinforcements here just to free up one, but the 2 French armored divisions are right here and here. I can't pull them off yet. This becomes a 1-6, prime for an overrun, and this guy becomes a 3-4. So we want to make it hard for the Germans to attack. This is 7 defense. This is 9 defense. Unfortunately for this guy, though, this massive infantry is going to move up and hit him. But it looks like turn 4 with no overruns and no flanking around because we've got defenses here too. And I may have changed that. I think I changed that and put it back in. But either way, the Germans cannot get adjacent to Paris before the combat phase. There's no overruns. So turn 4 is going to be focused on just moving and attacking and moving up as much units as possible adjacent to Paris. So we'll see how that plays out. So while the Germans are winning the battle, I don't know. If I had to choose right now, based on the fact I got to do a Vichy roll, I have a feeling that I don't think the Germans can pull it off. But let's go ahead and look at the end of the turn here. Okay, here we are with the end of the turn. Yeah, and like I said, I did correct that. Now we've got these units in Paris. But, yeah, they don't have enough strength to flip around and overrun him, so there's no way the Germans will be able to get adjacent to Paris before the combat phase in turn 4. So turn 5 will be the earliest they can attack Paris. And if one of these 6-6s full strength gets slipped into Paris, it potentially becomes impossible for the Germans to even take Paris. I mean, they may be 1 turn away from taking Paris, but the game is limited to 7 turns, so I have a feeling, unless they're able to hurt these 2 units, that the French may be able to make it proof through turn 7. And you do see the Brit armored moves up here, covers the river line at least, prevents these guys from running wild. This guy kind of too. He can do some stuff, but there's nothing over here. So, in any case, there we go. That's the end of the Allied turn, rather quick. And beyond that, next turn we're going to come back and see what the Germans can pull off. They're running out of time. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for listening.